Small tank locos are not easy to convert to sound due to the space constraint. This particular loco, a J83, is not the smallest by any means, but internally most of the space is taken up by the motor, and there is also a weight at the front of the boiler, which would preclude fitting any size of speaker. An outlay of £100 plus for a sound decoder is somewhat excessive if you have numerous tank engines which just chuff around your layout at a slow fixed speed. So how about installing a simple sound module into a van behind the locomotive? And this way, it could be used for a variety of small tank engines on your layout. There are some commercial sound vans available using DCC sound decoders, but the sounds available tend to be scenic sounds and not the working sounds of a locomotive. So the aim of this project is to produce a very simple two-sound module providing a steam hiss while the loco is stationary and a fixed chuff while the loco is moving at a slow, constant speed. Let's take a look at the hardware. Two WTV-020 sound modules will play the sound files through a 30mm speaker. A simple PIC circuit will control the switching of the WTVs. A keyring RF transmitter receiver will be used to enable remote sound switching. Power will be taken from the track, which is DCC, through a DCC to DC converter. This is not suitable for DC track due to the need for constant power on the track. However, there is a possibility that an additional van could be added containing a battery pack. A stay alive circuit will be added to maintain the continuous power necessary to prevent the sound modules from resetting. Here we have 3 of the 4 boards that we'll be using. The soundboard consists of 2 WTV sound players, and as you can see, they're fitted with micro SD cards. One marked S for steam, the other C for chuff. It's a 5-volt regulator and a couple of diodes which will take the voltage down to just over 3.3 volts, which is required to power the sound modules. We have a very simple PIC board, which also has a 5-volt regulator and resistors, which in this case are pull-down resistors, as the inputs from the RF receiver will be high and not the customary low. Let's look at the operation. The sound files are from real locos, therefore they can be edited to your own choosing. They are loaded onto the WTVs, one for steam and the other for chuff. The WTV reset pin is used to switch the modules on and off, while the play stop pin is held low to invoke the loop facility of the sound module, and therefore the sound files will play continuously until the reset pin is hit. And that will be either when switching from steam to chuff or vice versa, or when switching the sounds off The pick program is very, very simple. It contains if statements to prevent steam and chuff switching on at the same time, and these are contained within a loop, and that is it. Two channels of the RF transmitter receiver are used to switch the steam and chuff, and a third is used to switch both of them off. Here we see the boards about to be fitted into the van. It's a tight fit, as you can see. We have the soundboard tucked underneath the RF receiver and the pick board, which you may have noticed has turned from a 675 to a 676. The reason being that I needed an extra pin to provide the sound off facility. You'll now see the DCC to DC converter, which includes a stay alive, the capacitor of which has been moved to the left-hand side of the van chassis due to space constraints. For a future build, I'd probably consider replacing the capacitor, which is a 2200 microfarad, with an array of small tantalum capacitors to increase the capacitance whilst maintaining a small footprint. The WTVs can be quite hungry on power, and the 2200 microfarad is probably not up to the job in terms of maintaining constant power. Well, here's the van. So let us take a look at how it operates. Let's look at some alternatives. Any sound files can be loaded onto the WTVs, but they must be in AD format. This means that in the case of this particular project, additional sounds could be added, let's say, to the steam hiss to include coal shoveling, which you may have heard in the video. Also voices of the crew, anything you wish. And in addition, you can overlay different sounds onto the chuffing sound while the loco is actually in motion. So this could be used for any small tank locomotive where a fixed slow speed is suitable, and therefore you would not require anything other than the single steady chuff that we have in this example. A diesel shunter would also be possible, just using idle for stationary and run as the two sound options. For references, I used Davies' ebook, chapter 14, Adding Sound, which includes all of the information you require on the WTV020, including circuit schematics, how to convert MP3 files to AD4 format, and advice on how to create the necessary sound files. In addition, I used Davy's Intro to PIC projects, which was originally a workshop. This has all of the necessary information regarding the if and loop statements to create what is inherently a very simple PIC program. And I'd like to take the opportunity to thank Davy for explaining to me the difference between hiss off and chuff off. And finally,